Inspiration Nation, hello, Lee Kemp here for another week on a podcast. Jose Noya, Ryan Boniface, and of course, the one you're all here for, Lee Kemp. How we doing, dudes?
Very well, thank you.
Very well.
I like whenever I stray off my normal opening, Joe always gives me this weird look, like, "What are you doing? What are you doing?"
Variety, the spice of life.
That's it. I like to mix it up. I've got this big like theatrical entrance I want to do one day when I remember to do it when we start the podcast. That will sound really good.
Do you know what I remember that time you did that when we did the 5 a.m. one and you like did all your
my fake super sleepy.
You shot. It was really good, yeah. And then right,
that was good.
We all laughed. That was really good.
That was good.
Oh yeah,
we're waiting for another one of those, Lee. It's really good.
Because people won't see that. I don't know if we talked about it at the start, wasn't it? But the whole preamble beforehand, I acted like I was really grumpy and half asleep.
Yeah.
And then bam, came to life.
I really loved that. It was just so good. 5 a.m. club. Oh, stand back a bit.
I'm like the glue that holds this podcast together, I tell you. Anyway, everyone out there, thank you for all your support as always. And the man is really Jose Noya. Jose Noya, Inspiration Nation. Stick it in your Google machine. You can follow him TikTok and YouTube. Loads of inspirational content. And most importantly, you can get involved when we go live each and every week. Speaking of which, we have some exciting news towards the end of the show for everybody on that front. But let's get down to business. Jose, what are we inspirationing today?
Inspirationing today for our inspiration is in everybody. Just going to say hello, Sikandar Khan, for joining. Thank you for joining the pod. Right, okay. This is it. It's from James Clear.
We like a bit of James Clear.
Don't wait on external factors. If the thing you've hang on. What?
I would say we'll edit this out, but we're live, so you just got to power through.
Hang on. If the thing you've been waiting for, that's it. I can't read. It's the heat. I'm not sure. I'm blaming the heat. No, it's me. So let me start again.
Don't blame those external factors.
Don't wait. Yeah, don't wait for external factors. If the thing you've been waiting for never arrives, or if the permission you're hoping for is never given, what's your move? That's what it is. Do you want to repeat that? Was that a bit quick?
Well, I can't go through that again, so I think we need to stick with that there. That was hard work getting there.
What I will do, though, is I will give you my take on this to let you guys have a little bit of a sink in. So what I like about this quote, or actually from James, is the external factors, if the thing that arrives, permission, all that stuff. And I take this back to where I'm working currently, actually, and I've been working there for quite a while now, but they didn't have a coaching space. And for me, if I'd waited for permission, none of this would have happened. I wouldn't have done anything. So I didn't wait for permission. I just went off and started doing coaching lunchtimes and talking about coaching in the HR meetups, really about 50 to 60 people there. And literally, by doing that, not waiting for the permission, doing it in the right way, not just railroading people, but just being really passionate about it and talking about what's in it for them from a business perspective, but also what's in it for people in an organization, started to happen. And now we've got a program of coaching that I've been involved with now over 3 years. So that's why I like this particular one about, the thing you're waiting for, if it doesn't arrive or you're waiting for permission, what are you going to do? What's your move? And I think it's really powerful because I think a lot of us can get stuck in that place where you just wait for something to happen rather than just do something, just see what happens. I mean, Steve Jobs talks about, doesn't it? Take a step, take an action and see what the reaction is, see what the outcome is, to see what happens and then pivot. Yeah, there you go. That was my take on it. But your thoughts, gentlemen?
I like that. I just have to apologise to everyone out there as well. I just realised my little desk fan was on and might have been creating a bit of background noise, so I've turned it off. I might be sweating, but which hopefully not. Hopefully all sorts of good noise cancelling stuff will be in effect. I understand that tech well. I love this.
Just to let you know.
Yes,
before we go. Triple Eight has joined on opposite. I was going to Twitter then. I've definitely gone too lally.
He's on MySpace.
On the don't say that. I'm confused now.
TikTok,
definitely
TikTok,
on
Joe.
The TikToker. Yeah, thank you, Triple Eight. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Old schooler back in town. Go on, Lee. Sorry, I interrupted you there. Go for it.
I didn't quite join the dots at first until you started talking, but I love how spot on this quote is for you, Joe. And one of the big things you kind of done with that coaching thing, and like you said, it manifesting it into existence effectively. And I think that's a really strong thing, because you're right. If you have to, sometimes opportunities are presented to you, but normally that's accumulation of things that happened in the past. But more often than not, you create those opportunities. It comes back to the whole luck is a skill thing, doesn't it? The more you're putting yourself out there, the more you're pushing on things, the more those opportunities come, because you're creating them, you're making things happen. And exactly like you said with the coaching thing, you didn't railroad people, you didn't push negatively or in the way, you didn't throw your hands up in the air and go, oh my God, this isn't for me, when you first got, that kind of, I don't know if resistance is the right word, but when it wasn't going straight in that direction, you just started quietly doing it in your own way, in your space. And other people saw the benefit of it, and more people, and the momentum built, and you created that basically by being you and doing your thing and making it happen. And like, again, one of the first things I've taken from you on the whole, it's, about the journey and trusting the process. You just trusted in that. You were just yourself, and you were doing it in little bits, and it's grown into what it is today because of that. And I think, yeah, this quote is so spot on for you. As soon as you started saying that, it's brilliant. And I think it's true in so many ways. You've got to make your opportunities, and that doesn't come by one big flashy event or doing anything negative or undercutting people. It's all those little small things that are moving more and more and more towards what you want. Again, to use more things we've got out of box, putting that little vote in the box, isn't it, for who you want to be, and keeping focused on that in all those little ways.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, and again, when I did the quote, I thought it just resonated with me. And then I just thought, oh, what's my example? And that's the one that came
It's
out.
so
So
perfect.
I think, where have I used that? Like, have I used that? And I was really thinking, have I really in real life? So yeah, thanks. I appreciate you your view on that. But Ryan, what about you? Anything on this one?
I think as long as you said something in what you were talking about, Joe, and it's as long as you do it in the right way. But for me, sometimes forgiveness is easier to achieve than permission.
Love that one. Yeah.
And again, you have to do it in the right way, and there's obviously a trust element involved, and you've got to be able to do it for the right reasons, and be able to justify that. But sometimes you've just got to trustful, so to speak, and you've just got to commit, and then if it doesn't work, or something doesn't quite go right, or it falls flat, then it's very easy. It's a lot easier to gain forgiveness than it is to originally have got the permission before, because at least and once you've done it, at least
And you've got to
Yeah, I
trust in
really like
yourself,
that
haven't you? Trust in doing the right thing,
one.
trust in the results that you can deliver, and you go into that 100%. And quite often, once the results are there, people aren't worried whether you asked for it in advance or not. It's, oh, okay, this is working. How do I get on board with this as well?
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
for sure.
powerful. Yeah, it's powerful. I really like that, Ryan. That one you said about the permission. Yeah, what's the quote? It's
Forgiveness is easier to get than permission.
yeah, that's it. And I think the other one I had was don't. Yeah, don't ask permission to seek forgiveness. I love it anyway. I love that whole thing, and I think there's a lot in that. And when I did do this, it was just me, like Lee said, just being me. I think that was the thing as well that came out of this. I was just being me, and so that was my brand, really, if you like brand or whatever, right? So that's just me, just doing it. So yeah, and I think it's such a powerful thing, and how and I think this one I'm going to encourage your audience to do is, what's your move? Don't wait. I mean, if I just waited, oh, it's got to be perfect, it's got to be the right time, then you're never going to get that moment. And I think you and Lee Lee, you've talked about this as well, in other things that you've done. And when I think about this even more, when I've been reflecting on what you're talking about, even the podcast, right? This exists because, yeah, Lee said, well, I know a podcast, let's just go do something. And then it started happening, but you can overcomplicate things and put barriers in your own way. It's just about, well, what is the smallest step? And again, that sort of leads back to all the things we talk about in this podcast a lot. But yeah, anyway, that's about enough of my view on that. Anything else from you two on this, or is anything you want to add?
I had something there, and then it just vanished from my mind on what we're talking about, which is very frustrating. But it's like you said with the podcast, not only it was, well, let's go and do it, let's make it happen. But I don't remember all the way back to that first conversation. I think we were in a Weatherspoons having coffee, Joe, when we talked about it for the first time, I think.
You did. Yeah.
And we said not only would we just get on and do it, but we'd set a deadline. So I think on that day we set a date, which in my mind I want to say was 3 weeks from that day when we were going to do the podcast. And then that became my goal, was right, I've got to figure out how to do this in 3 weeks, because whether I do it or not, we're doing it. And it happened. And we've gone through, we've changed the technology we use, as in the platforms we use, so many times through what we've gone, and we've evolved how we do it and how we do the podcast. I mean, I remember first of all when we used to, the first iteration was me coming to yours, Joe, wasn't it? And we'd record it there in person on whatever we used at the time, and have this terrible cut up audio file that I'd send to Ryan to edit together from God knows how many cuts and whatever. And then we came up with that. We started wanting to do video, which was getting Ryan more involved. And then we used to meet together once every 3 weeks, and we'd like do 3 podcasts all together in a group. And you'd record it, Ryan, and edit it and do it out. And then, being ahead of its time, a few months before lockdown became a thing, we started, well, let's just use Zoom and see if we can use Zoom to do it. And we were ready then for COVID before we knew that was going to ever happen. And now we live stream it on YouTube. There's very little editing that goes into what we do now, which is a bit of a stylistic choice, but also because of how we work it together. So we've gone through so many iterations of that in finding the best way to do it, building out bit by bit by bit, but just kind of going in and making it happen and seeing what works and what doesn't work.
Yeah. It's funny you saying that, because someone asked me, I want to set up a podcast. And I said to them, I don't set it up. It's my friend Lee. Like, he's the one that he orchestrates it and get it all set up. I said, but here's a little YouTube video. And it's almost like that. You see that when people reach out and they want to do something. And I don't know if they've done it. I doubt they have. And I think there's that thing of, I'll just put something out there, but no action is taken on top of it to actually make it happen. I think that's really dangerous.
And like you said, it's back to your quote, isn't it? The either external forces stopping you, or it's not the right time, it's not the right place, I don't have the time to do it. All these things that all become those mental barriers and mental blockers, are not just taking that action.
Yeah, and I think I get caught up a little bit in that, because when they did reach out and I was like, I can help you. And I said, I'm falling into this trap again of, try to do stuff for people, right? And that's not how it works. That's not how people get that success. But I did cheat a little bit, and I sent them like a little YouTube video, how to set up your basic podcast, and it's on there on YouTube. It's all there. But I still don't know. They still haven't to this day said they've done it. So it's really interesting. It's fascinating, isn't it? Where's that? I really like what you said around when the deadline was set. That created, right, this is the moment's got to arrive. What am I going to do? And this is the step. These are the things I'm going to do. And it was great, really good. Yeah, I just love that. That deadline that you set was really key, I think, for it happening. And we haven't looked back. And like you said, when we look back, though, it's really interesting what you said about technology. We've changed technology, and we did it through COVID. We've done it through when Russia invaded Ukraine. All those types of things happening through this lifetime of this podcast. And this podcast, is it 7 years old? I don't know. I think it's 7, isn't it? Something like that.
7 and a few.
That's me yapping. Over to you. Yeah, it is, isn't it? Ryan, thoughts?
I think it needed a commitment from all 3 of us. I think if I hadn't have been asked, you two probably would have made it work somehow. You would have found a way to have worked it out in the same way that Lee found out about getting it started as it was. But I think if the 3 of us weren't committed to doing it, it easily could have fallen on its face in the first 3 to 6 months. All it took was one of us to say, I can't make that Sunday, can't do that one, can't do whatever. And then it would have changed. Things would have been wholly different. But we committed and we pushed through and we put ourselves out there, and we continue to do so now. So I think it's just a testament
what do you think
to the
drives
effort
that?
that we put in.
What do you think drives that? Because we have been doing it consistently for 7 years. What do you think it drives that? Look, from your perspective, Ryan, about what we're doing and
What
three
drives the
of
fact
us.
that we turn up every
Yeah,
week?
we
Or
turn up. I mean, okay, we missed what I think a couple of
um,
weeks over 7 years is
Than a
crazy.
handful.
I think
Yeah, less than a handful. Yeah.
I think I turn up because you're my mates, if I didn't turn up, then that would be letting you down. I don't mean turning up physically. I mean metaphor. If I didn't turn up to this every week, if I didn't put the effort in every week, then that would be letting the pair of you down. Now, don't get me wrong. The three of us have gone through spates of being unavailable and having busy lives and being in different places, and we made it work. Like I did it from South Africa 3 or 4 times when
Yes, you
we were
did.
2 hours. We were 2 hours separate in the weekday evenings that we did it. 2 hours isn't there are worse time differences than 2 hours, but when we work jobs that finish at 5 o'clock collectively, your 5 o'clock was my 7 o'clock. So I was having to rush essentially my early evening and eat to be able to get back and see you guys. And the amount of times I turned up kind of 3 or 4 drinks deep and had to kind of sober myself up and sit here and say, let's have a proper conversation. But
Yeah.
I think the reason we've consistently done it for so long, from my perspective, is that I show up for my mates.
That's so nice. Yeah. And I think it's that commitment thing, and I'm definitely the same. I just think it's become habitual now. It's just a thing that we do.
I think
And the same, I think I get a lot of value from having these deeper conversations around what we do, and we've all shaped it differently. Go on, you're going to say, Ryan, you're going to say something.
I was just going to say, I think, oh, have I lost it? No, I've lost it. You carry on.
Ah, sorry, Ryan. I think
No, you're okay. No, you're okay.
yeah. And again, for me, it's having these deeper conversations. Definitely, I know Lee's gone on about this as well. Actually, that this is I'm definitely so different from 7 years ago. Absolutely different person. Totally different. Well, not totally different, but like the coaching's evolved. I've evolved, and I'm going through a different phase right now around where I am in my life. And this is just such a lovely way to, as Lee said, document it and have something out there that will help other people in the day to day. And just shows you, doesn't it? If we go back to the quote around don't wait for external factors, you're waiting for permission, it's going to happen. What's the move? Well, we're doing the move practically every week. And we have these conversations about what we're going to do. And this is where I think our audience can really benefit. And this is why I always ask the audience what they want to do with this stuff. Because dreams and whatever you want to achieve is on the other side of that. And this podcast may never existed had we not had the conversations, had the actions, and it may not have lasted 7 years had we not stuck doing every week. And of course, we talked about before coming on air, didn't we? We talked about the pizzas, Lee. You missed that bit out, I don't know.
That was a key building block of the podcast. Was Joe's vegetarian pizzas.
I didn't want to say, but you've said it now. Yeah, but anyway, over to you guys. Love that.
I think the same we said here. I'm now very aware of the value this adds to my life in doing this, and like you said, Joe, we're all shaped differently because of doing this. But I've only got to the point that I'm aware of it through turning up. That wasn't where this started day one whatsoever, and it's kind of evolved into this kind of personal kind of journal for the three of us. As much as I don't, I've got a little journaling note you'll like to tell you later, actually. But it was the same. I think, Ryan. I think one is it's turning up for my mates and turning up for people that we made a commitment to do something with. And I think the fact there's three of us really helps with that, because I think it'd be a lot easier if one of us couldn't make it. There's not a solo
to blow each other
you
out.
skip it,
Yeah,
and then it probably only takes 2 or 3 of that until it starts to fizzle out. But it's so much easier to keep the momentum going when there's always at least, other than that, less than a handful of times when there's always at least 2 of us available for it. I think has also helped with keep it going. But it's turned into something that's absolutely crucial for all of them. I might do it to take the time to go back and listen to some really early ones and listen to us now and hear how different we are as people over what has become quite a significant amount of time. You change, but I think my personal development growth curve is so much higher now because of us doing this and because of the bouncing things off of each other, hearing each other's experience, reflecting on each other as well, which I think is I think that's hopefully what we encourage other people to do through this, is to kind of have those same reflective thoughts themselves.
And that's the thing I think is missing. You know, I don't think people stop and have these conversations. And I've noticed, you know, especially in this fast-paced world, is that, you know, people think, what are you having this conversation for? Well, it just shows you that going slower actually, Simon Squid talked about it, right? You sometimes need to go slower, like the catapult, he calls it. You go slower to go faster in the end. And I think there's a really good analogy that it's like a rubber band you pull. And the reflection piece is that we talk about our experiences, what we've done, what our wins are, what we struggle with. And then that creates, for some reason, some sort of momentum when you go back to your daily life. So we've had our reflection time. Now, what am I going to do? So now, usually you commit to a few things. Ryan, the same, right? We talk about exercise, we talk about these things. And it's funny when you even talk about it, that it does sort of link. There's something that lingers about this conversation when you go out of this podcast. You think, even subconsciously think, oh, I've got to try and do that. I've got to do that, or whatever. Like backlog your life that you probably, you know, Ryan, you've had some, you know, you did some fitness stuff. You know, you've gone. Oh, Ryan, you've gone through so much of a leadership growth that you said when we first started. So all these things that we talked about, and actually, Ryan, it's your journey from where you started to now. It's just crazy when you think about the journey. But I think it's because this leaves a residue behind about when you go back off this podcast, what happens, and that's why I want people to get from this podcast. When you listen, what's your step? What's your action? Because this is what you need to do. We don't want podcasts to go out there and not do anything. Really make sure that you do something, anything, just to get the ball moving.
Absolutely.
Yeah, love that.
I need to start wrapping us up, dudes. But what I want to make sure we say, so everyone out there, it's interesting, we talk a little bit on the journey we've been on, because it must be in our minds. Next week, we will be physically together in the same place. We're going old school. Jose and Ryan are coming to me, and we will be live streaming a live podcast next Saturday, the 6th of June. If you want to get involved with that, just follow again Jose Noya, Jose Noya-Inspiration. Put it in your Google machine. Following on both TikTok and YouTube. We'll keep you posted when we're going live. And say if you do follow, you will get alerted as well. And you can see us all in the same place, all eating Joe's horrible vegetarian pizza he'll bring for us. I just put out there that I actually quite like the pizza, but it's turned into such a joke.
It's the principle.
Yeah. It doesn't matter whether I eat it. It doesn't matter whether I enjoy it. It's our joke.
Do you know what, though?
Correct.
Do you know what? I really did enjoy what you said, though, about the super fan that actually does enjoy vegetarian pizza and actually backed me. Someone who's very close to you, Lee, just saying.
Yeah, they let me down and
Just
supported you. It's not what I'm interested in. So yes, the next time we will be live will be Saturday the 6th of June at some point, but we'll keep you posted when that's going to be. If you're a fan, I say just keep close to Jose. Right, let's do some quick takeaways and we'll count down and we'll be back next week in a bit. Jose, I know it's your quote. Give us a takeaway.
Okay, for me is keep stepping, keep taking steps. That's all I'm going to say. Small steps forward every day. That's me.
Ryan.
Sometimes forgiveness is easier to achieve than permission.
Love it. And I'm going to go for this. It's the importance on reflection. Find someone you can do this with every week that we do, and it will add to your life no end.
And if not, come here and listen to this, right?
Absolutely. And throw some questions in the comments and get involved. Any quick TikTok shout outs before we disappear?
Just a shout out to Triple Eight. Just want to give a shout out to Triple Eight for joining. I can't pronounce that one, but yeah, actually Triple Eight asked how we're doing. So we're doing great. Well, I'm doing great, Triple Eight. You boys, you doing good?
Absolutely.
Yeah, all good.
Appreciate the ask.
Good. Lovely. Ines, thank you. Hi, said hi, thank you. And Alice Abbott joined as well. So thank you all for joining and supporting us here. We appreciate you so much. There you go. That's it. Shout outs for TikTok.
And on that note, all that's left for me to do is count us down. I'll say 3, 2, 1, Inspiration Nation. Catch you guys later.
Catch you guys later.